Hello, and welcome back to the Blissful Biz podcast. Here's something that might shock you 95% of online courses have completion rates under 15%. But here's what I discovered after years of working with yoga teachers and wellness practitioners and launching courses and programs. It's not because people are lazy. It's because most offers are accidentally designed to either overwhelm or underdeliver rather than transform. It's because they are fluffy. There's so much fluff out there. There's so many fluffy online programs. And before you feel called out, I want you to know I've been there too. Some of my offers were definitely fluff. So I remember one student giving me feedback. I loved the content, but I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose. Every module gave me 10 new things to do, and I didn't know which one would actually move the needle for my business. So yeah, fluffy, fluffy, fluffy. I'm Susanne Riker, digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience, turned yoga teacher, turned six-figure online business owner. 10 years ago, I flew to Bali for a yoga teacher training, fell in love with the island, and decided to build an online business so I could live there. Can't be that hard, right? That decision launched me into an adventure bigger than I'd ever imagined. Over the last 8 years, I've guided over 1,000 yoga teachers and heart-led coaches how to launch and sell their digital offers, build their brand and websites, and build a profitable online business. In this podcast, I share real proven strategies and the exact steps that work. Whether you're just starting out or ready to scale, we'll dive into everything from creating offers your students can't resist to making digital marketing work for you. If you're ready to build a business that brings both freedom and success, you are in the right place. And maybe you've been there too. Fluffy online courses and programs are everywhere. Courses that are clearly written by AI with no personal experience or nuance. Programs that promise everything you need to know, but when you get inside, it's just surface level information with no implementation support, no community, no way to get help when you're stuck. Just think about it. When you're teaching a yoga class, for example, you don't plan every single cue ahead of time. You walk into the room, you feel the energy, you notice that person in the back corner who looks stressed, you see the regular student who's been working on their arm balance, and you respond. You respond to what you see, what you feel, to the energy. You meet people where they are. But when we sit down to create a digital course, we panic. We think, what if they need this? What if they don't understand that? What if I'm missing something important? So we pile on more modules, more bonuses, more content, thinking we're being generous. But here's the truth. Whether you're packing everything you know into one offer or you're creating something that looks simple but lacks substance, you're prioritizing your own comfort over your students' need for genuine transformation. With the kitchen sink approach, and I've been guilty of that, you're protecting yourself from the fear of leaving something out. And with the too simple approach, when you just put something out there, very simple, just a few videos, you're protecting yourself from having to do the deep work of creating something truly valuable. I know that sounds harsh, but stay with me. When I first heard this concept from my own mentor, I felt defensive, but I want to give them everything they need, I protested, and I want to over-deliver. And here's what I've learned. Over-delivering on information often means under-delivering on transformation. And under-delivering on depth means you're not delivering transformation at all. Because the transformation doesn't happen in the learning. It happens in the doing with the proper support and guidance. And if people are either too overwhelmed to do anything or don't have enough guidance to do it effectively, you failed them. So let me give you examples of this kind of fluff, right? First, the overwhelming kind. A coach came to me with a 10-module program on holistic wellness, on transformation, and she was brilliant, truly. Her content was deep, it was well researched, it came from years of personal experience and professional training. But students were dropping out by Module 4, and she was frustrated because she knew her content was good. And when I looked at her course, I could see why. Module 1 was about mindset, Module 2 was about nutrition, Module 3 was about movement, Module 4 was about sleep, and it went on and on and on. And students were thinking, wait, I thought this was about wellness, but I still don't know what to do first. And the opposite problem is, like I had a student who created what he called the simple stress solution. So it was just 5 videos, 20 minutes each, and sounds reasonable, right? And that can be really valuable. It's not the number of videos that makes your program amazing and valuable and transformative. But when I looked at the content, it was all generic advice. Practice deep breathing, get more sleep, exercise regularly. There were no specific techniques, no methodology behind it, no support for implementation. Students would watch all 5 videos in one sitting and then think, okay, now what? And that's a fluffy offer. So maybe you're thinking, okay, but how do I know if my offer is too fluffy, either too much or too little? So here are 2 quick tests. First, the clarity test. If someone asks you to explain the one transformation your program creates in a single sentence, could you do it without using the word and? Could you do it without using the word and? If not, you might have too much going on. And the depth test. If someone asks you, what makes your approach different from free content online? Could you give a specific answer that shows your unique methodology and support system? If not, you might be too surface level. And that's fluff. So let me give you an example of that kind of fluff versus clarity. Too much fluff. My program helps you create a sustainable wellness practice and build confidence and improve your relationships and find your purpose and start a business and heal your trauma. You can feel that, right? This is way too much fluff. Too little substance would be, my program teaches you wellness basics through 7 simple videos. And compare that with Just Right, the Just Right approach. My program helps you create a 20-minute morning routine that reduces anxiety and gives you steady energy all day with daily check-ins and personalized modifications for your lifestyle. Do you see the difference? This is exactly why I restructured the Blissful Biz Academy. Last year, I was positioning it as a kind of full access pass to all my offers. And, you've got everything inside it. So branding, websites, creating online courses, content marketing, email marketing, the list went on and on. It sounded amazing on the surface. And I thought, oh my God, I'm giving so much value. But in reality, it was simply overwhelming. Students would log in, see this massive portal of content and freeze. Where do I start? What's most important? How do I know if I'm doing this right? And honestly, I was getting feedback that reflected this. So students would say things like, there's so much great content, but I don't know what to focus on first. Or I feel like I'm not making progress because I keep jumping around between modules. And that stung. But I needed to hear this. So I went back to the drawing board and I asked myself if someone could only get one result from the Blissful Biz Academy, what would I want it to be? And the answer was clear. I want them to create and launch their signature program and set up their evergreen sales funnel. That became my North Star. Every piece of content had to serve that outcome. If it didn't directly help someone create and launch their signature program, it got cut or moved to a bonus section. And then I re-recorded everything, pared it down to a clear step-by-step pathway. And I have to tell you, restructuring the program over the last months has been such a relief. So yes, it was a ton of work, but it feels so good. I am proud of my offer. I believe in it, and I know it'll bring you results. My first students who started in early May are getting ready to launch their programs and feeling clear about what they are offering and why it matters. That's the beauty of creating something that's not fluffy, something solid, structured, and real. When you give people a clear path to a meaningful transformation, they can actually get there. And I think we've all experienced the other side of this too. We've all seen coaches who are incredible at marketing and sales, beautiful branding, fancy funnels, professional videos, compelling social media. And maybe you've bought something from them that left you feeling disappointed. Sometimes it was information overload, so much content you didn't know where to start. And other times it was the opposite. Beautifully produced videos that said nothing you couldn't have learned from a quick Google search. Or maybe it looked comprehensive, but when you tried to implement it, there was no support, no community, no way to get help when you got stuck. The sales page promised transformation. The welcome email got you excited. But when you actually got into the program, it was fluff. Either too much or too little. It was fluff. So there was no real depth, there was no genuine support, no clear system. And what happened, you probably never bought anything from that person again. You might have even felt a little burnt, a little suspicious of the next beautiful sales page you saw. This is why your reputation matters more than any marketing or messaging tactic. Because even if it looks super professional, even if it has all the bells and whistles and feels shiny, if there isn't real substance underneath, it won't last. It won't last. And in our industry, where trust is everything, this is especially important. People aren't just buying information from us. They are buying transformation. They're investing in their health, their well-being, their peace of mind. They're trusting us with their most vulnerable struggles. And we have a responsibility to honor that trust. And that means creating offers that actually deliver on what we promise. Now, I'm not saying your call should be filmed in such basic, low-quality video that it distracts from what you're teaching. Production value matters to a degree, but you also don't need a Hollywood production. Quality is clarity. It's having a clear roadmap, and it's offering support that's actually valuable, right? So how do you actually do this? How do you take all the expertise you've gathered, like your years of practice, training, personal experience, and turn it into something people feel confident buying online? This is such an important question, and honestly, it's where so many yoga teachers and wellness practitioners get stuck. I see it all the time. You're brilliant at what you do, but you struggle to package your wisdom into a digital offer that feels clear and compelling. And you already know how to guide people. You're great at teaching classes, holding space in a retreat, working one-on-one with clients. You know how to respond in the moment. When someone needs an adjustment, or when a client shares something vulnerable, or when the energy in the room shifts and you need to adapt your approach. You know how to help people feel seen and supported. But when it comes to packaging that wisdom into a digital offer, an online course or a group program, it can feel disconnected. almost like you're trying to translate something that's so deeply personal and intuitive into slides and videos and modules. And that translation is exactly where the overwhelm shows up. So you might be thinking, what exactly am I promising? How do I know if it's too much or not enough? How do I structure this so it feels clear and not like a bunch of random lessons? Will people actually get results without me there in person to guide them? What if they need more support that I can give in a pre-recorded format? If any of that sounds familiar, I want you to know it doesn't mean you're not ready. It doesn't mean you're not qualified. It doesn't mean you don't have something valuable to offer. Quick pause, just a short interruption to share something I think you're going to love. If you've been dreaming of building an online business that gives you more freedom, more time freedom, more location freedom, and more ease in your day to day, I have something special for you. It's my free on demand training called How to Create and Launch Your Signature Online Program and Create Consistent 5K months and beyond. Inside this 50-minute masterclass, I'm walking you step by step through the exact framework I use to build a sustainable six-figure business from my online programs. And honestly, I think this is one of the best masterclasses I've ever put together. People are already raving about how valuable and eye-opening it is. And I keep hearing how much clarity it's given them to finally move forward with confidence. This isn't about chasing trends or working harder. It's about designing a business that actually supports your life with aligned offers, simple marketing strategies, and a system that helps you earn consistently so you can focus on the work you love. Whether you're still figuring out what to teach, you've launched something that didn't sell the way you hoped, or you're simply craving a clearer path forward to build your online business, this masterclass will show you exactly what's working right now and how you can create steady income doing work that feels meaningful. And truly, if you've been listening to this podcast and wondering, how do I actually put all of this into action? This is the best place to start. You can save your spot and watch it right away for free at susannereiker.com/masterclass. That's SUSANNEREIKER.com/masterclass. I'd love to see you inside and help you build something that feels sustainable and aligned. All right, let's get back to today's episode. It just means you haven't learned yet how to take what you do naturally in person and build it into a repeatable process that works online. That's a skill in itself, and it's one you can absolutely learn. Inside the Blissful Biz Academy, that's what I help you do step by step. We look at your unique gifts, your way of teaching, your story, the results you've already created, and we design a digital offer that feels authentic to you, while also giving your students a clear roadmap they can follow on their own. We don't try to turn you into someone you're not. We don't give you a template to copy. Instead, we extract the essence of what you do best and build a system around it. And this is where the Irresistible Offer Framework comes in. Because when you have this framework in place, your program doesn't feel generic or watered down. It feels like an extension of your real work, just delivered in a way that's scalable and sustainable. So let me walk you through the framework. It has 5 elements. The first element is the meaningful transformation. So every offer begins with a clear promise, one that addresses a real-life challenge your students are facing. This isn't just about clarity. It's about creating what psychologists call implementation intention. When people know exactly what they're working toward, their brain literally rewires to notice opportunities to get there. But here's what most people get wrong. They think a meaningful transformation has to be huge. Transform your entire life or become the best version of yourself. Heal all your trauma. Those aren't transformations. They are fantasies. Real transformation is specific, measurable, and achievable within a reasonable time frame. This isn't about promising miracles or overinflating results. It's about saying, here's the outcome you can expect if you do the work. So, for example, instead of saying yoga for better sleep, you could promise learn the 3-step sleep reset method so you can fall asleep faster and wake up refreshed, even if you've struggled with sleep for years. This is measurable and focused on one clear outcome. The second element is the authentic pathway. This is your unique approach, your way of guiding someone through the journey. So what steps were they followed? What makes your method different? What have you personally experienced or learned that informs how you teach? People aren't just buying information. They're choosing you as their guide. When you can name your method or create a simple framework, it builds trust. And your pathway doesn't have to be anything complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the more likely people are to follow it. But it does have to be yours. The third element is accessible integration. Even the most brilliant process won't help if it doesn't fit into people's lives. This element combats what researchers call cognitive overload, when people shut down because they can't process all the information at once. So think about your own life. When you're trying to learn something new, what makes you stick with it? Usually, it's when you can see progress quickly, when it doesn't require a complete life overhaul, and when you can fit it into your existing routine. So ask yourself, how can you make your teachings doable in the midst of busy schedules and competing priorities? Can you give them quick wins, simple daily practices, ways to feel successful early on so they stay motivated? This is what makes your program feel supportive rather than overwhelming. The fourth element is the supportive container. This is the environment you create, so your students don't have to do it all alone. So I'm talking about a premium program here, right? So I'm talking about creating your signature program, and here you want to add a supportive container. It could be a private community, weekly check-ins, personal feedback, or simple guides that remove the guesswork. Think of it like building a little greenhouse around your students so they have the conditions they need to thrive. The psychology behind this is powerful. When people feel supported, they are 3 times more likely to complete a program. It's not about hand-holding. It's about removing the isolation that makes people quit. And this doesn't mean you have to be available 24/7 or offer unlimited support. It means you're intentional about creating connection and accountability. And finally, the fifth element is the mutual commitment. This is where you set the tone for partnership. You're bringing your expertise, your tools, your support, and they are bringing their willingness to show up. This isn't about making everything your responsibility. It's about creating a clear agreement about what success looks like and how you'll both contribute to it. You can, for example, design a compassionate guarantee that reflects this. Something like, if you complete the program and don't feel a real shift, I'll offer a one-on-one session to help you move forward. This creates clarity and shared responsibility right from the start. And when you put all 5 of these elements of the Irresistible Offer Framework together, you don't just have a program. You have an offer that feels grounded, clear, and full of integrity. An offer you can stand behind proudly. one you feel excited to sell because you know it's worth every penny. And here's the beautiful thing. When you create an offer with these elements, marketing becomes so much easier. You're not trying to convince people to buy something fluffy and vague. You're inviting them into a clear transformation that you've successfully guided people through before. If you're sitting there now thinking, oh, wow, maybe my online course could use some refining, that's completely okay. This is the work. Creating something meaningful isn't about getting it perfect the first time. It's about being willing to look at what you've built with honest eyes, to see what's working and what isn't, and to shape it into something that actually feels good to you and to the people you want to help. And I can tell you from experience, it's worth it. When I realized that the Blissful Biz Academy, as it was, wasn't working anymore, I felt so much resistance to making changes. Part of me thought, I've already invested so much time. Part of me worried, what if people expect all that content and I take it away? Part of me feared maybe it's fine as it is and I'm just overthinking and I should work on sales and messaging. But deep down, I knew it didn't feel clear. It didn't feel like something I could fully stand behind anymore. It was good, but I knew it could be better. And that misalignment showed up in my marketing, my sales conversations, and my students' results. That's why I went back in and restructured it. And it was such a relief to see it come together again in a way that feels aligned and focused. I'm more proud of the Blissful Biz Academy now than ever. It's something I believe in completely, and I know it will help people get real results. And that's honestly the best feeling. So if you're in that place where you know your offer has good bones, but maybe it's trying to do too much or isn't as clear as it could be, give yourself permission to refine it. I promise you, it's going to be worth it. And the people you're here to help will feel it too. All right, friend. I hope this episode gave you some clarity and encouragement. If you'd like to learn more about the Irresistible Offer Framework or get support in building your signature program and your evergreen sales funnel, come check out the Blissful Biz Academy or reach out to me. I'd love to help you bring your vision to life. Remember, you don't have to settle for fluff. Your work deserves to be clear, powerful, and deeply impactful. Bye for now, my friend. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Blissful Biz podcast. If you found this helpful, I'd love it if you hit subscribe and left a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other yoga teachers and coaches find these strategies too, and it would mean the world to me. It really makes a difference. And if you're ready to take the next step, head over to my website, susannereiker.com, where you'll find my free resources, latest blog posts, and all the ways we can work together to grow your online business. Until next week, keep building your blissful biz.